to the Get Your Right On podcast, a podcast for aspiring authors who are ready to publish their books.
Oh yeah.
Each week, we interview authors, learning about their publishing journey, and giving you tips to get your books published the right way. Now, here's your host, Shante Williams.
All right, you guys, listen, welcome to the Get Your Right On podcast. I am your host, Shante Williams. I am so excited, you guys, as we are kicking off season 2 with some bonus interviews with some authors, some amazing authors. I'm so excited. So tonight's episode is sponsored by Greater Working Women Ministries, where they strive to encourage, empower, and equip women for greater. You can find out more about them at greaterwomen.com. You can register for their 3rd annual Women's Conference, Grace for It, which is Saturday, October the 30th in Columbia, South Carolina. Tickets are only $47. Go to the website and register. All right, you guys. So listen, on tonight, I have with me Miss Joy. Listen, you guys, she is the founder of Pink Girl Teaches. And when I tell you the Pink Girl Teaches, you need to be ready, because she's coming with that truth. She's coming with that transparency. She's coming to get you all the way together. All right, you guys. So listen, none other than Miss Joy.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the Get Your Right On podcast. I'm so excited. So for those of you who don't know, the Get Your Right On podcast is all things writing and publishing for aspiring authors and veteran authors. So on this podcast, we interview authors, whether or not they publish with Relentless House. We just want to showcase you guys and your work, and to allow you to tell people who you are and what you do. So Joy, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. What a privilege and an honor. I appreciate this time and the opportunity. So I'm Joy, like she said. Also, people know me as Pink Girl Teaches. And yeah, I wrote a book. It's called Fearless. And it's really just talks about life, about finding hope and inspiration in your own life story, as well as, just continuing to evolve until you get to that version that you were created to be, and finding out what is your sweet spot, what was I created to do, and walking in that. I am a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. So I work with the victims, right? Not with the narcs. Nobody can work with them, for your information. But that's what I do. And I love love. I talk about relationships as much as I talk about overcoming toxic relationship. My goal is to help people not just dwell in their past, but also embrace the fact that, yes, even though this is my past, if I do the work, I should expect that there must be a return on the investment that I've put in myself. And that comes by changing your perspective. That comes by knowing your worth. That comes by demanding more. And when you know your worth, you're just not going to settle for no narc. You're going to smell that narc a mile away.
Exactly. I love it. I absolutely love it. So listen, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The first question is, I know you have Fearless, and you also have a journal, and then you also have a book that you co-authored. So one of the things that I always ask authors when I do consultations is, why are you writing this book? Don't give me that look.
Because I know that question.
Yes.
Fearless wasn't really the book that I wanted to write. And that was really uncomfortable for me. And even saying it is like, sis, really? But it really wasn't the book that I wanted to write. I wanted to write about relationships. And I was working on that, but it just felt like, there's a blockage here and I can't go any further. Mm-hmm. And then Fearless just started bubbling on the inside, and then the thoughts and the ideas came, and I was like, yeah, but this is not my lane. I'm not going to write this. But How is it not your lane? You know, we're taking life's experiences, we're taking life's challenges, we're taking hopelessness, and you've been hopeless before. You know, you felt desperate, and you felt like, what is my purpose, and how do I get to become a better woman? How do you inspire somebody? You know, it's not just about, it wasn't just about a book, but it was more also, okay, fun fact, people really don't know that I am a minister, right? Collared and everything. But it felt like it was an extension of that. And I was just walking in ministry and just doing what I'm supposed to do. And it just felt like, listen, you know, answer the call and just write the book. And so that's why I had no peace until I did it.
Listen, so for those of you out there who are fighting and struggling because it's like, I don't want to write this book, write the book. The
You know
very
what?
book you don't want to write is the very book you need to write.
That's the thing, you know, so I think we get the thought that, oh, I want to write a book. And then immediately we go to what is comfortable to us.
Yes.
But if we don't go beyond our comfort zone, how are we really going to be fearless?
Come on now.
I'm just saying, how are we going to be fearless if we don't step outside of the comfort zone? And I think some of your best writing comes from that, when you just say,
Yes.
okay, I'm just going to flow and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're able to tap into that subconscious state. You know, you start writing at a conscious level, but once you're like, okay, I've got to flow and I'm going, and you're now tapped into that subconscious. And
Yes.
yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. So listen, the second question is, what do you wish somebody would have told you about publishing prior to publishing?
oh, child.
I know, right? That's another book.
It is another book, and I think it's like a whole podcast on its own.
It is.
Oh, I wish they would have told me everything. How to do it, what to expect, what not to do. You know, pacing yourself and the mistakes. There's so many mistakes, you know, you learn.
Absolutely.
Deadlines, and you know, how do you, let me see, what was the biggest challenge that I had? The biggest challenge that I had with Fearless, right? So I remember I was writing one book, and I was budgeted for one book, but then I ended up with something else, and that was way out of any budget that I had. But yet I believed in it so much, and it was I believed in it, yes, but there was also something on the inside that said just do it. And I'm like, but I can't, because you know I don't have that kind of budget. But you know, so I decided, okay, let me just go through this thing by myself and figure this out as I go. But you always know that your editing should always be the number one priority. Pay for it and make that investment, you know, and even if it means, like, listen, do what you got to do to get that done professionally.
Absolutely.
Your cover has to be just everything, because that's what's going to grab people's attention. And then your formatting, I think, because, you know, it gets boring when you're reading something that's like, okay, what's happening here?
Exactly.
And
I get it. Yeah.
don't use the Canva or the Post on My Wall book covers.
Say that one more time for those that are trying to DIY it the cheap way.
You know, it doesn't have to be that expensive though. Like
Exactly.
you have other options, but everybody, just don't.
Just don't. Listen, just don't. So you mentioned the book cover. What made you get the lioness?
Because she's fearless. I started writing the book. Well, one of the things, like when I started writing it, I just started asking questions like, what are the things that I enjoy about life? And, you know, passions, and wildlife has always been one of them. I think it took me back to childhood, because we used to drive through, game reserves, and we got to watch them in their natural habitat. And then you think about your own life and how you have to pursue the things that you want, how you have to have a game plan to go after some things that are much bigger than you. Like I mentioned earlier, that the budget for this book if it was going to be done professionally, was much bigger than what I had. But do you back down when you can't, or do you say, listen, I'm going to make the best with what I have? And, hopefully I'm going to seize the day and, it's going to work out or whatever. But consider lions, and I thought about that. And then also, then did some research, and then you find out that, lions are becoming extinct. They're being hunted. They're being, their territories are shrinking because people are invading those spaces. And so that kind of makes it difficult. Like, how do you survive? But then what about us? We have a society that's being driven by pop culture and, standards that have nothing to do with us, that are dictating who we need to be and how we need to show up in life. And so do we continue to say that, oh, okay, I'm going to follow this, what TV says, I'm going to follow what music says, I'm going to follow everything outside of you.
Right.
Or are you going to really be fearless and take a moment and have, some self-reflection, some introspective, and find you, the reason for your birth.
That's good. That's good. So you're coming up on a month almost of the release of Fearless, right? So what has the feedback been like? What has been like somebody's favorite chapter or favorite takeaway from the book?
What I'm getting the most of is, I didn't expect this from you. What did you expect? But just that it's challenged them to think differently, because now I've challenged you to see me differently, even though that was not the intention, but you're looking at me differently. But challenge yourself, because now what is leading you? Sometimes in life, our fears lead us. And because you may be somebody who's experienced a lot of disappointments. And so are you going to be led by the fear of the other shoe falling?
There you go.
Or are you going to just, I'm going to try it, and I'm still going to put the best version of me out there, and I'm going to evolve until the wheels fall off, until I achieve that most significant state of who I was created to be? Who's going to lead you? What the world dictates, or what you were created to be?
I like that. I like that. So I realize this is going to be like a flyby interview. So what was the point in your life that you realized you were fearless?
The point in my life when I left my ex-husband. Really, when I left him, because I hit rock bottom, and, just thinking that you needed somebody to be there, when in actuality I didn't. And I had to, do a lot of inner work at that time so that I could show up as a mom, who's not bleeding on her kids, but she's healed, she's whole, and she can give them something positive to nurture them the right way, and to love them, and to help them grow into who they're supposed to be, and prepare them for life. And so that took me having to grow up and face my own skeletons. And yeah, that was the moment.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So what advice would you give to the woman who's trying to be fearless but feels like she can't?
You can feel like you can't, but continue to be fearless, and continue to tell yourself that I am fearless. Your words are so powerful, and they create the world that you live in. So if you are telling yourself that I am fearless, and you continue to show up, things are going to align. Don't tune out of yourself and allow other people to dictate who you are supposed to be, because the only thing that will show up is a compromised version of who you are. And we're not going to do that anymore. Don't allow people's corrupt perspectives of who they think you are and who they think you need to be what leads you, but find your own essence. And that means asking yourself difficult questions. That means sitting with yourself. That means doing some soul searching. And that's how you get to a fearless state.
It does. I think sometimes we don't want to do that soul searching because we don't like what we might find. And that can scare us. And it's like, oh, I don't want to go through that door, because I remember, we remember so much negative things that it blocks out the good things. And sometimes we have to address the negative so that we're over it. I mean, nobody wants anything to be hanging over their head. Like anytime a smell triggers something, or you see somebody and it triggers a memory, and it's just like it makes you freeze, and it's like you shrink back instead of going forward and saying, you know what, I did it, it happened, but I'm over it, I'm moving forward.
You know what, though? Those triggers are a good thing, though,
Or
because it's just an indicator of what you need to work on, and it's right there in your face.
it is, I love it. So now I'm going to ask you, do you have a passage that you want to read to us from Fearless, a favorite
Oh,
passage?
I wasn't expecting that, but we can do that.
Yes, we can.
Let me see.
All right, you guys, for those of you who are just joining, we are doing a special recording for the Get You Right On podcast as we are kicking off season 2. And tonight I have with me author Joy, who just released her first solo book, Fearless, almost going on a month. And so I will be giving you the website a little later on where you can go and you can purchase the book. I have my copy. Matter of fact, I don't have it right next to me, but listen, you definitely want to get this book. And she has more information that's coming up soon. She's going to have a Q&A session with all of those buyers, readers who have purchased her book. And so you want to make sure that you get the book so that you can be invited to the session. All right. So we're getting ready to listen to a reading passage from this amazing Fearless author, Miss Pink Girl Teaches.
Question, Shantae. How long is this reading session like?
You can do like a paragraph.
Okay. I'm gonna read this little paragraph. It's on page 23. That is the book. Well, there you go.
I love it.
I loved the cover so much, but I
Yes.
want to read this brief passage, and it comes from. This is like right at the beginning of the book in chapter 2, where it talks about life is waiting for you, and this is really to encourage you to seize the opportunities that are there in front of you. Many times we look at our situations and we look at the things that are surrounding us, and we see the disappointment, we see the failure, we see the regret, we see the shame, all these things that we, put on ourselves, or that, other people may have thrown at us, and now we've allowed those things to become our identity. But we've got to, understand that life is waiting for you. And it's really just you shifting your mindset. But this is really, it's under the subtitle, The Inspiration of Your Desperation. And what it says is that the child of God never fights for victory. We constantly wage war from a position of triumph. God has already declared that you are more than a conqueror. Your fight is to manifest your spiritual inheritance in the earth realm. When you find yourself in a situation which you can't retreat, rather than cower away, face up to it. Be inspired and fight with tooth and nail. And whatever you do, go to battle and win.
I love it. Go to battle and win. That's what a fearless person does. And so listen, for those of you who are in book clubs or book clubs, this is a perfect book for you guys to adopt. And I'm sure that if you order 10 or more, that Joy give you a little discount, right? Tell her I sent you. But listen, we definitely want you to go and get this book, okay? Go to pinkgirlteaches.com. Get your copy. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. So, Joy, tell them, give some encouragement to the author who is struggling to even get started, or to even think that their writing is even worth investing in as far as publishing. What would you say to that author?
You know what I tend to believe is the fact that you're really just questioning your ability says, yes, go ahead and do it. Because you never see, what's so crazy is that those that may not necessarily be gifted to do it never question that. They just go ahead and do it. And then here you are, you have everything on the inside of you to deliver a perfect and a much needed message. and you question yourself, I would say, yeah, go ahead and question yourself. That's okay, but don't doubt your ability to deliver. Continue to believe in your message. And if you don't know how to get started, the only thing I can say is just get started. It doesn't matter, because sometimes you think that there's a sequence you need to write in, but if you're writing, just start. I started with the lions, which I thought would be at the end of the book, but it ended up being in both the front and in the beginning and the end. And I played with that so much. But just start writing with whatever you have. And when you have the inspiration sometimes, and you don't have, you're not on your laptop, you don't have pen and paper, take a voice note, record it, write it, but don't let those things go. And sometimes it's just like 2-3 words that drop in your spirit, and you get a wind of, oh, wow, write it. Don't necessarily worry about, oh, my grammar is not perfect. That's for later, and you're going to get an editor to do that, right? Because we're going to invest in editors. But don't doubt what you can do, because, I never thought fearless was something that I would do. I would never have thought it in a million years. But here we are. We're talking about being fearless and achieving your most significant state. And you should do that. Believe in the gift that you have and write your book, because message is important. And if you feel like, well, maybe I can't do this whole book, well, okay, maybe just put it in a blog, maybe put it in a workbook, break it down, but make it easy for yourself. Don't get into your heads too much, but just allow yourself to go. Because I think when we get into our heads, we become the brick wall.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Don't get in your own way. Don't overthink it. Just do it. If you never start, you will never know what you're able to do. I love it. So listen, you guys, the link is on the screen. For those of you who are watching us via video, go to pinkgirlteaches.com and go ahead and order your copy today. Order your copy today. All right, Joy, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this special recording for Get You Right On Podcast Season 2. It has been an esteemed pleasure. Now listen, what's coming next? She's looking like, no, you did it.
I honestly don't know what's coming next. You asked the question on your post. If you could take a book, what book turned movie did you enjoy the most? I can't remember how you worded it. And I went and I said fearless, because this journey's, for me at least, it's turning into a movie. But what's coming next is we're going to talk about relationships. I want to write that book finally. But the difference is now I'm looking at it through a fearless lens, and I'm rejecting what society and culture has told us, that these are the things that we need to do, and this is how we need to show up. And sis, you gotta understand that the dude has like all these options, and you need all these things. The devil is a liar. You don't want to contaminate yourself with every spirit possible. Like, there are different ways to achieve your desired result without contaminating your spirit. And so that's what this book is about.
Oh, I love it. So listen, you guys, stay tuned. Make sure that you follow her on all social media platforms. Again, Joy, thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited about your success with Fearless and everything that is going to be coming in the near future. Oh, tell them the date of the Meet the Author Zoom event for those who have purchased the book.
It is on the 6th of September.
Awesome. So listen, if you purchase the book prior to then, you will be invited to a live Zoom session with Joy to talk about the book, to, ask questions, get your answers, give your takeaways, your feedback, your nuggets, things that impact you, things that maybe you need more clarity on. So this is a great way to learn more about an author. So I definitely love the fact that you're doing that. I hope that many more authors do that as well, as you form that relationship with your readers, because people want to know that they are connected to you. We want to feel like we know you. And so that is an amazing way of doing that. So thank you so much, Joy. Any parting words that you want to give us before we sign off?
Well, firstly, thank you again, Shantae. I appreciate this chance and this opportunity. And parting words, be fearless.
Be fearless, you guys. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. So now we're going to let you know about a couple of product and services we have available for all of you aspiring authors out there. So our first product is the Aspiring Author Kit. It comes with a Get Your Right On Authors Publishing Planner and Workbook. It helps you go from book idea creation to book in your hand. So it takes you through the writing process, the outlining process, the planning process, the marketing, creating realistic financial goals, all of that good stuff. The greatest thing about it is you get a 30-minute Zoom strategy session with me for us to talk about your book idea to see if it's something that you need to pursue or something that you need to blog. I do not believe that everybody needs to write and publish a book. Some of us just need a blog to be able to get it out of us. So you want to make sure that the book idea you have in your head is actually going to be worth your time and investment. Okay. And so we will go over those things in your Zoom strategy session. So the next thing that we have coming up, and I am super, super, super excited about this one because it is the very first, and I do mean first, group coaching program that Relentless Publishing House is doing. And it's called the Authors Roundtable. So this is a 6-month group coaching program where we will meet bi-weekly on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We start January 2022 and go through June 27th, 2022. So this particular group coaching program does include a publishing package where you can do a book or you can do a children's book package. So it includes all of the publishing cost with that. You also get 25 free author copies. You get 100 postcards, and I will be able to interview you on the next season of Get Your Right On podcast. And so we have our first session. It will always be the group coaching session. The second session will be a writing session. So in that writing session, you can get live feedback from me and your peers on what it is that you're writing. If you're stuck, you'll get strategies to get you unstuck and all of that. And you also get a free aspiring author kit. So we will start shipping out our welcome packets actually next week. And so I'm so excited about that. So if you are interested in that, the total investment is $3,000. You can secure your seat with a $300 deposit. You will be invoiced for the balance. So the balance must be paid by December 31st, because when January comes, we're going to hit the ground running. As a matter of fact, you will have homework to do prior to January to get us ready so that when we come, we are going to make the best use of our time so that you can make sure you got 6 months to write your book and to start the publishing process. Okay. What better way to get that done where you are handheld? You have that personal coach, which is me, that will help you through that process. So I'm excited about this group coaching program. It is going to be phenomenal. It is going to be very impactful. And if you are that person that's been procrastinating, that always says, one day I'm going to get it done, or I've started and I stop, or I'm just stuck, I don't know where to go next, this program is for you. Now listen, this program is not for authors who are lazy, who don't want to work, who know it all, and who think the price is too high. Listen, don't sign up, because we're not going to work out together. All right. So I want to work with authors who are ready to make the investment and who are ready to get their book done. Okay. So this is what it's about. And if you want to talk about this to see if it really fits for you, go to our website and schedule a 15-minute consultation, and let's have a conversation to see whether or not this program is best for you. All right. I definitely believe in talking things out first so that you know exactly what it is that you are investing in. Okay, because once we start, it is full speed ahead. All right, you guys. So listen, I thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Get Your Right On podcast. Again, this episode was sponsored by Greater Working Women Ministries. Listen, as we say at Relentless, it is never too late to get your right on. So until next time, make sure that you are making the best of your time, that you're not procrastinating, that you are fearless in your writing, fearless in your goals, and you are relentless when it comes to getting your book done. All right. I hope to see you showcased. I want to celebrate you when you get your book done. Let us know. Follow us on all social media, Relentless Publishing. You guys have a great one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Get Your Right On podcast. Make sure to visit our website at www.relentlesspublishing.com. You can subscribe to our monthly mailing list, check out our publishing packages, and pick up our Aspiring Author Kit, which helps you get the book out of your head and into your hand. Don't forget to tell an aspiring author about our show and kindly leave us a review. Until next time, remember, it's never too late to get your right on.